Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Pale Reflections. I'm Ruben Morehouse,
I'm Elliot Diebold.
and normally on the show we dive into Wildbow's most scholastic or murderous or triumvirate or whatever work, Pale. But as you can probably tell from the title, this episode is going to be a bit different because we have received a cease and desist letter. Another entity, also going by the name of Pale Reflections, has reached out to us and told us that because they had the name first, we can't use it. Apparently, our name was stolen, so unfortunately, that means that our show is going to have to come to an end.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Um, I mean, obviously, I was enjoying running the show,
Yeah,
and we had so much cool stuff in the works for the future. Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
have to reach out to everyone who was gonna appear as a guest and cancel the 24-hour live stream we were planning.
25 hour.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah, it sucks. I mean, the thing that really makes it a sting to me is we obviously the letter came from Pale Reflections, telling us that they already had the name, but we looked it up, and there are a few different places that use that name. So we actually don't know who this has come from. We just know that it's come from someone else using Pale Reflections as a name who has come after us. So what we thought might be fun is in our final episode, we're going to go through and try and figure out who sent us this cease and desist letter so that we can, I mean, for any lawyers listening, I'm just joking with what I'm about to say, but you guys wink wink. So we'll just talk through who it is and try and figure out who it is. And if our listeners want to contact them on Twitter and harass and start a horrible harassment campaign, we don't want them to do that.
I mean, yeah, Twitter harassment campaigns, they're not that bad, actually.
Yeah, they're good, and we endorse them.
Um, I don't know. I don't even know if I don't know if I want to even joke
Yeah, we
about
can't
that.
even. Yeah, maybe that's a bit too much. Yeah,
But yeah, no,
apologies.
I mean, more or less, basically, the thing is we need to put aside the Carmine Beast murder mystery,
Yeah,
because now there's obviously a more important murder mystery, which is who done killed our show.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, we need your help as the audience because obviously we haven't really figured either of these murder mysteries out. I'm not sure we're very good at this, so
Yeah.
we'll just present you with the facts, and then please help us figure out who killed us.
Yeah. Dun dun! Dun dun do, 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 do. In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by
Ruben,
two
we've just
whatever.
gotten a cease and desist. You can't.
So, yeah, shit. Sorry, maybe that's already. Now we're gonna get double cancelled. Anyway, so we've looked up a bunch of different things that use the name Power Reflections, and we're going to try and figure out who has taken us down. Let's start with this one, Elliot. A comic. There's a comic called Power Reflections that we didn't know about, and maybe they stole the name from us. It's hard to tell, but
Hmm.
they have existed for much longer, so that seems unlikely.
Yeah, this was published in like 1997, so it's a very impressive steal. If so,
Yeah, 1997. Jesus Christ, I didn't realize how old it is. This is a comic called Pale Reflections that is like a Buffy tie-in comic, right?
yeah. So it's like there was a Buffy comic series as the show was going, and this collects issues 17 to 19 of that comic series. It's like a soft paperback or whatever they call them. That collects a couple of issues, and these three issues together were titled Pale Reflections.
Yeah. And I know what you're all thinking. Finally, a Doof show, a Doof Media podcast covering Buffy, just like we've all wanted to do for ages.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Now that Scott's busy with a baby, we thought it's
time
time
to
we
step
step
up.
up
Yeah.
and cover Buffy.
And can I just say, I don't like Buffy, I think. Having never seen it, I didn't really get into it based on this comic, which I'm assuming is canonically, as good as it gets with Buffy. So there was kind of like a few chapters, and then there was like a little like mini story called Killing Time, and that was all grouped up in the Power Reflections chapters. And like, I didn't like it, I didn't really like it. I thought it was fine. It was like serviceable, I guess, but I didn't get any measure of joy or emotion out of it. So maybe it wasn't very good.
No, I agree. Particularly that Killing Time short story. I don't really see. It feels like they had some magazine that needed 20 pages filled, and they just filled it with this because it's kind of a nothing little story. Um,
Yeah.
and then
The sorry, should we give the plot, or is it even not worth it?
no, I don't think for killing time it's worth it. I think what's more interesting
Well, I
is
just want to point out this thing that happened in the notes where I went to write a plot summary about it, but got bored and distracted after I wrote the words, "This is just a short mini story about," and then I didn't even finish the sentence. So I guess that sums up what it's
yeah,
like.
that was pretty much the vibe of it. I mean, the rest of it was more interesting. I think the problem for it was is it's issues 17 to 19 of like an ongoing story. Um, so obviously, jumping into chapter 17 wasn't the easiest, and then we sort of left before the actual climax. So
Mm.
um, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd be curious to know what you thought about the characters because I think the only thing that carries tie-in comics like this really is that there's shadows of the show, and you carry through that because like as somebody who binged Buffy and loved it about 10 years ago now, I was doing a lot of like, oh, it's so and so, oh, it's so and so.
Mm. Elliot, you talk about the characters. I really would have liked if there were some characters in this, I think that would have maybe that's a tip I would give to the authors of this comic. Characters, they're pretty good usually. Um
Hey, there's some in there.
yeah,
I'll
so
admit I struggled to differentiate the voices of characters I already had in my head
so
as distinct.
this obviously has Joss Whedon's name attached to it. I'm not sure if that means he's actually the author of the comic or what, but
I don't think so.
yeah, maybe it's like ghostwritten. Whatever. It's just not. I just didn't like it. There was just nothing there, and like, I mean, it's called Pale Reflections because it's a character that's like a fake Buffy that looks exactly like her. But because of the style of the show of the comic, I already couldn't tell which characters were which, and so I got
Yeah.
really confused. And when I didn't even process that the other character was meant to be like a pale reflection of Buffy for a while because they all just looked so similar already. It was just very. I just didn't get into it. You know what I mean?
I definitely like I will say somebody who watched the show, it took me about half of the comic series to realize that or half of what we read to realize that Oz was Oz. Which obviously won't mean anything to you,
Yeah,
Ruben,
it
but
means
like
nothing to me.
yeah, like it's basically one of the mainish characters, especially at this is set during season 3 of the show. It's like one of the main characters, and it took me till about halfway through to be like, "Oh shit, that's meant to be Oz." It didn't look anything like Seth Green.
Yeah. Oh, it's Seth Green. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. There was one part where a character who I didn't recognize says to another character I don't recognize, they're holding up a water pistol and they say, "Guess what type of water is in this water pistol?" And with context clues, I kind of piece together, okay, that probably means it's holy water. That probably means this person's a vampire and the other one's like a vampire hunter or whatever. But it's just all nonsense to me. And people might say, well, you guys started at chapter 17 of this story, so whose fault is it if you don't understand what's going on? And to them, I say, yeah, but that's the bit that's called Pale Reflection, so otherwise it wouldn't really work with the theme of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, and for the record, that this person that Ruben could not identify was Angel. Um, the yeah, yeah,
Wait, the one holding the pistol or the one being pistoled?
the one holding the pistol was Angel.
Right. Okay. Yeah, cool. Whatever. Is he actually an angel?
No, he's a vampire.
Hmm. But it's kind
It,
of like
he,
Chris Angel kind of vibe.
I guess I'm not going to bother saying spoilers because this is like I'm spoiling an early season 1 twist of a show that's over 20 years old. But
Mm.
he's like a vampire who still has his soul in the show. Normally, vampires lose their soul, and that's why they're like evil.
Mm.
Angel as a vampire got cursed to get his soul back, so now yeah, he's like a
What a
goody vampire.
curse! Oh no!
Well, no, because he still has to kill people and eat their blood. So, like, but like normal
Oh,
vampires
I
don't feel
see. So he'll
guilt.
actually like feel shitty about it. Okay,
Yeah,
that's an interesting curse. Man, so Buffy can have interesting things happen.
I, this is a very pale reflection of what the TV show
Oh,
is.
bada bing, bada boom, huh?
This actually did make me want to go back because I binged both Buffy and the spin-off Angel in my first year of college and like watched all 12 seasons in about a month. So 10 years later I remember basically dog shit from it. But I do remember really enjoying it and watching reading this comic made me go like I should rewatch Buffy.
It made you yearn for things better than this.
yeah, exactly. Seeing this guy, like one thing I do remember really enjoying about Buffy was like the quips that they would throw in during the fights, and like like when Joss took over the Avengers, it was very similar. Like he kind of that's definitely his trademark sense of humor is having the characters quip as they're trading blows.
Mm.
This comic did not capture that energy very well. And as I was cringing at all these quips, I was thinking I should rewatch the show and just make sure that like they are as good as I remember, or maybe like 18-year-old Elliot just didn't have
Yeah,
very high standards.
yeah. I wonder. But yeah, there's nothing in this comic, so I don't think this is the one that came after us, Elliot.
No, I mean it's too old anyway. It's been out of print for 20 years or so.
Yeah. Should we move on to one of the other ones that we found?
Yeah.
So the next one I found is Pale Reflections, and they are a eating disorder support community. So I don't think there's really any jokes to make about this one. They've
No.
been defunct for like 12 years or more because their website is really out of date. There's not really any jokes to make here, but when you look them up on Google, the page that you're first taken to is their terms and conditions page, which seems very litigious. So they're kind of my top suspect at the moment.
Yeah, I mean the fact that the most recent post on their community site is from 2011
Mm,
makes me think that this could be the first move in some sort of comeback.
like a rebrand or something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, honestly, this whole discovery was just a bit of a bummer because it was like this clearly seems like a really good cause, and it for whatever reason this website did not survive that long. And I was just looking at it and I was like,
Oh
this
my
seems like
god,
a cool thing. This sucks.
Elliot, they're not a suspect. They're a previous victim.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, the
Oh my
pieces
god.
are all falling into place.
It was right there in front of us.
It was there the whole time. No wonder their main pages is all their terms and conditions because they've probably had to spend a lot of money defending themselves from some villainous legal team.
Yeah, I mean, uh, the last post is from almost exactly 10 years ago. Maybe we're looking at some sort of,
Mm.
every 10-year killer.
It's like that the clown from It. I've forgotten what it's called. Oh, Pennywise. Except instead of 27 years, it's 10 years.
I was thinking of that dude from the third episode of X-Files, the Edward Toombs.
I can't remember if I watched that or not. I know
You
I
would
watched
have.
some X Files.
It's very early on. He's
Isn't
like a
Edward
guy, and he like lives in yellow mucus, and he can like elongate himself,
isn't
and he
Edward
comes through
Toombs
vents.
isn't Edward Toombs the human name of the Vulture? The
Oh.
Vulture Spider-Man. You know, the one that's played by Michael Keaton.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. The one who fights Spider-Man.
Oh, it's Adrian Toombs. Sorry, my mistake.
Oh,
The
idiot.
one who fights Spider-Man. That's every fucking villain from Spider-Man. What are you talking about?
No, some of them don't fight Spider-Man.
That's true. Like,
Venom. He is
Mm.
Spider-Man for half of it.
oh yeah, okay. Ellie, I'm pretty sure he also fights Spider-Man. I hate to break it to you.
I don't know. I couldn't sit the whole way through that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next Pale Reflections that we came across was a song by an artist named Gliss.
Mm.
Did you actually listen to this one, Ruben?
I didn't, I'm afraid.
I was hoping that wasn't the case. I could tell from our notes, but like, I mean, there's not going to be much to say here. I'm one of those really boring people who like, when you ask me what sort of music I listen to, I have to be like, I don't really listen to music.
Mm.
Um,
Is it one song or a whole album?
so the album is called Power Reflections, but I only bothered listening to the like titular song of the
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. Like, I couldn't really understand the words that they were saying, but I have that problem a lot with like all media. Like, I usually watch things with subtitles just because, for whatever
Yeah.
reason, I find dialogue hard to hear in most things.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like a low key classic rock thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of banking on you listening to this as well, so you could actually comment on it.
Well, I
I'm
can
not
tell
a
you,
musician.
I can tell you, they are a band from Copenhagen, and they describe their sound as fucked up noise pop. They seem to be still active. So if you're in Copenhagen, go check them out, I guess, and ask them if they've come after us. And if so, tell them we're coming. We're coming for them.
Yeah.
Sounds nice. I'm listening to bits and pieces in between saying words as I talk, and it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
I think that description that they had for their music was actually kind of fitting.
And I mean, so on their page here right now, I can see a supporter saying that this is their favorite album of 2015. So, props to them. Unless they came after us, in that case, they should watch their back. But if they didn't, props to them. Check them out on Bandcamp, I guess. Now, here's one that I think is a possible suspect. Elliot, Pale Reflections is also book 5 in the Kaminsky mystery series. Kind of.
Oh, of course. That famous series that I have heard of.
Mm-hmm. Of course, everyone knows the Kaminsky mystery series.
Wait, is he solving a murder? Kaminsky?
So I got the plot summary. This is available on Amazon. So this detective Adam Kaminsky, let me just read out some passages. Hurt by betrayal and reeling with doubts about his own judgment, Detective Adam Kaminsky seeks safe harbor on a pleasure cruise to Bermuda. But he's not the only passenger using the cruise to hide from his past. Then there is a body found on the cruise, and Adam is convinced to kind of help with the investigation, leaving Adam's sister Julia to focus on further developing her skills in photography, which sounds like it's the fun B plot of the book. I don't know.
Well, I love that there's another line later where it says, while every move the detective makes unearths more motives and suspects, Julia knows the truth is often revealed in candid shots and captured glances. It feels like this author is trying very hard to make Julia at all relevant.
Yeah, and then she becomes threatened by the killer, I guess.
It seems like that kind of book, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I look, the reviews for this book aren't great. I mean, I haven't read it, so check it out and read it for yourself. But I know that people who publish their work on Amazon, self-publish their work, I think, can often be very defensive about their work. And
I saw a Lindsay Ellis video about that.
Yes, exactly. The Wolf Erotica video, I assume, is the one you're referring to.
The fact that this is a murder mystery situation does definitely make me think, okay, they found out about our podcast. It's on a murder mystery story too.
Yeah. They've sent Adam Kaminsky after us.
But then also, I mean, we could team up for starters. Kaminsky could help us solve the Carmine Beast's murder. We don't have to be a war, Adam.
Yeah.
But also, I think this book is actually called
Should we maybe address the author and not the protagonist of this book?
Oh, this isn't a self-insert deal?
No, I don't. I mean, even if it is a self-insert.
Sorry, where did you write the author's name?
I didn't write the author's name down.
Okay, well, then how am I meant to reference the word?
The author is Jane Gorman. But
okay, then Jane.
I just think it's funny that we're addressing Adam Kaminsky as if he's the
detective
behind it.
He's the one whose help we need. Although I suppose Jane makes Adam. So
Elliot, he's a fictional character.
So is the Carmine Beast. I mean, that's synergy right there.
Yeah. But yeah, you can get this as a paperback. So it might not be self-published. It might be actually published.
I think we can rule this out as a suspect, though, because I think the book is actually called A Pale Reflection, not Pale Reflections. And that's not going to hold up in court.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Everyone knows that wouldn't stand up in a court of law. So I guess that's ruled out too.
Yeah. There was another song called Pale Reflections. So I don't know why these two aren't fighting, honestly. The second one is a three-piece string quartet thing, like it's an orchestral song. It's much closer to the sort of thing I usually listen to, and I didn't mind it. It's pretty, like, it's not a whole orchestra, it's just the quartet of strings, and they're not playing particularly fast, so it's very, like, low-key. But yeah.
They're not playing particularly fast. Is that a burn on them, Elliot? Like, come on, guys, you could play this better.
It's just not a very interesting song. Like,
right. So double the tempo, and you think you'd be more keen on it.
Yeah, I think I need more sounds per second to be stimulated. Basically, there's bits where somebody's just what do you call it when you pluck again? I played the double bass for like 8 years. I should know this.
When you pluck, isn't it just called plucking?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I guess you did know it after all.
Yeah, I really doing my double bass teacher proud today. But like there's bits where they're sort of plucking, but they're only plucking like one note every second, and it's just like, I don't know, hurry up,
pick up
Mozart.
All right. Well, do you think that they are our suspects?
No, I think the sorts of people still like writing and producing orchestral music are probably more litigiously chill than
Mm.
this. So I think they're probably
Okay.
safe.
All right. Hmm. How about, NFTs are hot at the moment, Elliot. Maybe it's something from the art world. Did we look for any art?
Yeah, we did find two art pieces called Pale Reflections.
Okay. Hmm.
One's just like a picture of a sky. I don't.
Yeah, it's got some motion as well. I
Yeah.
mean, as an audio format right now on this podcast, it's probably not worth us just describing these pictures.
Well, I
But one
can
of
pull
them's
out.
just a picture of some sky. One of them's more abstract, is just kind of some colors.
Yeah, I will read out the description of the sky one because they have like a written description of it on the
Mm,
website.
mm.
Pale Reflections captures the essence of a clear day on the Pacific, where the reflections off the water are so bright they diffuse with the sky.
Yeah.
Which I think describes our podcast too, so this could be the people coming after us.
Yeah, I think that pretty much captures what we try and do with our show too.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's
a pretty
definitely the
strong
energy
link.
we're going for.
Yeah, yeah. The other Power Reflections art piece I found was kind of more modern art. The description of this is pastel tones mixed with greys and whites give this abstract a light contemporary feel that suits any frame color, which again I feel kind of does suit the show that we
That
do.
also describes our show, yeah.
Yeah, a light contemporary feel. Yeah, I can see that.
We're very contemporary. We use hot memes all the time. That tracks.
Yeah,
Oh no, dank memes. Say contemporary.
contemporary. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at this picture now in our notes, and it just looks like modern art. Like
Yeah.
it's just a modern art.
Mm.
So okay, there's one last Power Reflections thing that I want to talk about here.
Okay.
I found an article from Caliber magazine, and that's a magazine about watches.
Mm-hmm.
And this article in Caliber magazine is called Pale Reflections, and literally, it's a whole article about a brand called Panerai releasing a watch that has a white face because usually Panerai only has black face watches,
Okay.
but this one has a white face, and apparently that's worth a whole article. Um,
Yeah.
if I could just read the opening to this article goes,
Okay. Do it.
the brand of Panerai is nothing if not traditionalist, but they too see the need to avoid stagnation. If all they ever did was make the same watch, well, the world as we know it would choke and die.
Pretty
Now,
dramatic. Pretty
yeah, there's a
dramatic.
little unless Panerai is the watch brand of choice for Suez Canal workers,
Nice.
contemporary.
Topical. Yeah, we're contemporary. We have a light contemporary feel.
We did sick burns on a boat that just got out. Yeah, I don't know. Like this article is wild. There's a line later when describing the fact that Panerai is building a watch with a white face, the author says, it's as if Mad Max showed up in a three-piece suit, or all the Backstreet Boys grew tails.
What a wonderful article this is. It's so long and so nothing. But, clearly whoever had to write this article, actually I can see their name is Richard. Clearly Richard, who had to write this article, had like 2 sentences of a press release that they had to turn into something, and an editor that did not care about what they wrote. And so they just put whatever the fuck they wanted in here.
This feels to me like somebody who went to like college or university, got like a writing degree, got a job at a watch magazine, and was like, I'm not going to let this stop me from writing.
I want to read a bit out to you.
Okay.
Panerai is steeped in their heritage, and rightly so. Their brand has a unique history, tied as it is to the Italian Navy and their elite teams of underwater frogmen. I don't know if that's an insult or not. I apologize if that's insulting. The Panerai brand made watches for those hardcore military teams, and the timepieces were designed to be used in the most severe and uncompromising of conditions. Not just war, but war underwater. Not just diving, but diving with explosives. Not just low visibility, but near invisibility, and turning on a light could have meant the difference between life and death. So Panerai is justly proud of their origins. But, like I said, all life has to evolve. And then, the author Richard goes into how Panerai has evolved from a watch with a black face to a watch with a white face. Whoa, shock. Anyway, it's just so
Honestly, I had a lot of fun reading this
Yes,
article. Not necessarily for the
100%.
reasons I think Richard wanted me to have fun, but
I kind of get the sense that Richard
oh,
is just having fun with it. Like,
maybe not for the reasons Caliber wanted me to
yes,
enjoy
for
it.
sure. Or Panerai, who presumably sponsored this piece of editorial content.
I don't know.
I'm
Well,
sure this. Yeah,
Panerai is also getting with the times, Ruben. They're light and contemporary like us. You know,
that's true. They've got a
they
light
understand meme
contemporary
culture
feel.
now.
They understand that they have to evolve or choke and die. Good times. This is my top suspect, Elliot. The overdramaticness of this article perfectly exemplifies the overdramaticness of the cease and desist letter we got. You know?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, and again, so these are all the suspects we found by page 5 of Google search. So there's potentially more suspects out there, but like honestly, if you're not in the first 5 pages of Google, like
Get your SEO going.
yeah, you've got bigger fish to fry than us taking your name, you know?
Yeah. Looking back at the cease and desist letter, I definitely feel like the style of writing matches to Richard's style of writing in this Power Reflections article, though. So I think he's probably our suspect.
Wait, sorry, hold on. I'm just looking at this letter again. I don't think it's not a cease and desist letter.
What?
This is a cease, we insist letter. This is just the regular hate mail that we get for Power Reflections all the time.
Oh my god. Do you know what that means,
This
Elliot?
isn't actionable in court at all. This is just the regular abuse that's thrown
It's
our
just
way every
regular
day.
hate mail.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for that.
Oh,
Does that mean
okay.
we have to keep doing the show?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think so. We can't stop now.
Damn. All right.
Well, I've got to go message everyone
Yeah.
and make the live stream a thing again because
I guess you better
I
uncancel the
it.
show and the celebratory live stream.
Oh,
Should we even release this episode, or
well,
I
my
kind of
time's
feel a bit
precious.
silly now?
My time's too precious. I'm not putting half an hour into this and then not releasing it.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Send it out there. Just in case anyone does try and come after us with a cease and desist letter, let them know, we won't take it lying down.
Yeah, this is proof that we've got light contemporary.
Yeah.
I
I can think of nothing more light and contemporary than this episode.
And with that, well, I guess we'll see you on Saturday for more Power Reflections.
Bye.